Hey, what's going on, guys? I just got home from work. I'm gonna go ahead and start the truck up, and I'm gonna explain a few things to you guys on why I decided to buy my LBZ Duramax, what led up to the events. Let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, she is purring like a kitten though. Lights are looking really good. A little cold. I haven't started it in about a day or so, but not too bad. Today's really nice. It's about 35 degrees. Can't complain. There goes that high idle. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Hey guys, I had to load that wood burner for tonight, but let's go ahead and get right to it. So bear with me too, by the way, guys. The honest truth about my LMM. So as you all well know that follow me, I do have a LBZ. So this is the 07 Chevy Silverado Duramax. When I got back from Afghanistan, this is years ago. This is about, I think about 5 or 6 years ago. I got back from Afghanistan and I decided that I wanted to buy something nice, and my brother-in-law actually kind of turned me on to the diesel world. Although I am a truck driver in the Army, I've always been extremely familiar with just diesel engines in general. Actually, my father, he's been a truck driver for about, I'd say about 32 years now. So when I came back from deployment, I decided to, you know, of course I wanted to get something nice, and me, given that I'm a Chevy man, you know, I wanted a Duramax. I've been doing a lot of homework on it, and I finally came to it. I was living in Tennessee. I was stationed right outside of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, with the 101st Airborne Division, and I went to a dealership in Tennessee, and I found one. I found an LMM already lifted. It had the Rocky Ridge conversion with the FabTech lift. It actually had MBRP dual exhaust, no offense, guys, but yeah, I didn't really enjoy the dual exhaust much. I always like being able to, you know, just have one pipe directly coming out. But DPF deleted. It had a stupid Quadzilla Stealth 2 with like I think it was like 165 horse hot tune or whatnot. What else did it have? It had a K&N Cold Air Intake on it. But this truck was beautiful, and I'm going to show you guys a few clips of the truck, and they're a little bit older, so bear with the quality. But I absolutely fell in love with this truck. I mean, it was beautiful. It was red. Everything about it it was just amazing. I mean, got a lot of compliments with it, and it just felt good to drive the thing, man. So interesting story here. So this is what ended up happening. My daughter, actually, so you know, most of you guys know I have a lot of children. My oldest daughter, so she got caught praying in class, is what ended up happening before she took a test. You know, she just said, "Dear God, help me on the test," or whatever. I mean, it was just something simple and quick. I think she just bowed her head and apparently disrupted one of the students inside the classroom. And one of the students told the teacher, and the teacher got all over my daughter about it, raised an uproar about her praying or whatever. You know, yes, we go to church, and you know, it's kind of ridiculous that the rights of these children can't even express something as simple as just saying a quick prayer about, you know, helping with something. So what ended up happening there, and this is how it led to me losing my LMM, by the way. You know, we decided, you know, I talked to the superintendent, you know, he's like, "Oh, we support prayer, blah, blah, blah." You know, it's just like, it's just not really, it's not a very good environment for her. So I decided to send both of my children to a Christian school is what ended up happening. Which we took a huge hit on our finances. You know, I had truck payments on the LMM, did a lot of upgrades on the truck after that, spent a lot of money on it, and you know, I decided to go ahead and just get rid of it. I did. So I was Duramax-less, diesel-less for, you know, quite some time, and it killed me. It really did. So, you know, what ended up happening completely after that, I started seeing a slight increase on my finances. On top of that, I wanted to downgrade. And when I mean downgrade, I mean I want to get a truck that is just as awesome as that LMM, but still feel happy with the purchase, and not the truck in general was 50 grand, you know. So I did a lot of research, guys. I did. The body style on the LMM or the newer body style, the 07.5 and above, was by far second to none in my opinion at the time, and just all the luxuries of it was great. But the LBZ really popped. I mean, guys, no offense to LOYs, no offense to LBZ or LB7s, okay? They're all equally great in their own right, and I can absolutely, and you know, I'll do another video on that, okay? If you guys want me to do that, leave it in the comments, and I'll definitely talk about the differences between the LB7s, the LMMs, the LMLs, you know, all that stuff. I mean, I absolutely can talk about that because I'm kind of well versed in it, you know. But doing a lot of research on the LBZ in general, the LB7s, you know, I mean, they have injector sleeves that go in, and by the way, the injectors are buried in the valve covers, and you have to, it's tough, you know. I mean, you have issues with, I've had an LB7 before. That thing made me old, man. No offense to LB7s, guys. If you have one, they're great trucks, don't get me wrong, but the things that come along with those trucks, there's just a lot of issues. The LOYs are great, man. They actually have the biggest turbo wheel than the compressor wheels than the other Duramaxes. They sound amazing. I mean, they sound great when they start up. The LBZs, yes, they have their issues, but they have that 6-speed transmission. They have that manual tap switch that's on the right here. It's manual. You know, you can change speeds when you're hauling, which really comes into play hard, because not that I'm a hauling guy or whatnot, I don't really, you know, pull a lot of trailers, but when I'm pulling heavy, man, it's cool to be able to shift them gears when I want them to. And I also have I have a 6-speed Allison. I mean, that's pretty awesome. On top of that, the LBZs were dubbed the hot rod of all Duramaxes. The only things that were a big turnoff for the LBZs is the simple fact that they got a freaking EGR on that thing, but they don't have the DPF. They don't have the stupid, I know it's minute, but the tire pressure sensors, you know what I mean? 07.5 and above, GM decided it would be a great idea to put tire pressure sensors in, you know, when you're running big wheels or different rims or whatever, and it just doesn't call for that. It's not cool. I mean, you know, then you got a freaking light going on in your dash. But, you know, just little stupid things like that. And all the other extra electrical components about it. The LBZ is a cat-eye version, which is, you know, I fell in love with it, man. Once I got the LBZ, the classic body style, so your 03 to 07, it looks great, man, and they're so much easier to work on, man. When I was changing out my lights, my headlamps on the LMM, man, that's a chore. I mean, it's not hard, don't get me wrong, but it's tough just to change out bulbs and stuff, you know what I mean? So that's kind of why I decided to go with the LBZ. If you were to compare the LBZ and the LMM, all right, yes, the LMM stock to stock versus horsepower is gained, you know, a little bit, you know, by tuning of the engine, but the LBZs and the LMMs are extremely similar in a lot of ways. So that's why I decided to buy my LBZ. I bought my LBZ in Ohio, in a little town called Chardon, and I was recruiting, Army recruiter down in or up in Ohio, or wherever you guys are from. You know, the truck is a northern truck. It's a Cleveland truck. It really is, but built in Michigan. That's where it was assembled. And you know, it definitely needed some love, guys. They marked this thing up to $26,000 with 123,000 miles on it. And this thing, you know, it naturally already had a few other upgrades on it. And I was able to talk that dealer down to $20,000. And the biggest reason for it, I used to work at a dealership when I was like 18 at El Sera. They're in Grand Blanc, Michigan. And I kind of have an idea on how things work, you know, with the auctions and then whatnot. But this truck in particular had a blocker plate on it. With that blocker plate, naturally it's going to throw an EGR code. And in the great state of Ohio, you have to pass those checks, those emissions checks, in order for you to keep these trucks or these vehicles, you know, registered. So I complained about that. They did not, and it was funny. I bought it from a Dodge dealership that sold Cummins. You figure somebody would catch on to that one. But I told them, I'm like, look, you know, the EGR is bad. There's all kinds of things wrong with it. You guys can roll the dice and send it back to auction, but it's totally illegal for you to sell me this truck anyways, just because of the emissions issues. So this is what I propose as is. I'll give you $20,000. And they were like, oh, heck no. No way. But long story short, about a week later, they gave me a call and said, yeah, man, let's do this. So that's how I got the LBZ. And, you know, I'm really happy with it. Yes, it needed a lot of love, guys. I mean, I put so much work and so much time into this vehicle. Luckily, by the time I bought this LBZ, I was still pretty well versed on the Duramax engine, because I've probably done injector jobs on a LB7 probably about 5 times over. But I mean, obviously, you're not going to change out injectors on an LB7 like you would on an LBZ. But the simple fact that I understand the block, the engine. I mean, I've done water pumps, and, you know, of course, upgrades and whatnot. So I totally get it, man. You know, so I know what I'm looking at with an LBZ. But again, man, I'm super happy with it. I don't think I'll ever go back. I'm going to keep this truck the rest of my life. If not, I'll pass it on to my son or whatever. But this truck is going to stay in the family. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to it, but hopefully one day it'll look good. My ultimate goal with this one is to eventually turn it into looking like a Southern truck, man. You know, there's definitely rust under the frame, so, you know, I mean, I want it to look clean, man. I want to keep it clean. I want to get a new paint job. You know, there's just a lot of things that I'd like to do with the truck. And then, of course, keep the content coming with the channel, man. This channel is just, it's a part of my life now. You know, I work, you know, I'm a father, you know, a husband, and it just, trying to keep the channel alive it's difficult. This isn't easy. But yeah, YouTube in itself is a part-time job for me too, just trying to obtain content just to show you guys, you know, so we can all learn from each other. And I sincerely mean this. I mean, I started this channel to help all of us in this community, because there's a lot of Duramax channels out there, don't get me wrong, and you know, there's a few that I recognize that are good, you know, and I support those. I do. I mean, look at my item description, you'll see them. There's 3 or 4 channels down there that these guys are doing good, and they're honest and they're sincere guys, you know. And there's just a lot of channels out there that, no offense, guys, they suck. I mean, you know, I like to be able to do detailed reviews and installations, and it's really tough when you're trying to film something, when you guys are showing us how to do stuff, and you skip over a ton of things that are extremely important, you know. So that's why I decided to design this channel, to improve the content of how-tos and installations on Duramaxes. And I feel like I'm doing a fairly good job, but man, it's a tough road, it really is. But I do appreciate the encouragement, guys, I really do. And then all the new subscribers, you know, you guys are freaking awesome, by the way. I love reading your guys' comments. I really enjoy it. I like responding back to you guys. I'm hoping, you know, here in the next month or so that I'm at least at 20,000 subscribers, because I think it's really going to set it off. This year is going to be amazing, 2018. There's just a lot going on, and, you know, there's a few things that I'm not telling you. You'll learn here eventually on some of my big plans in life that you guys will eventually see, but I want to keep you on suspense with that one. But you know, other than that, guys, first time stopping in, subscribe naturally, and you know, if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. You know, I'm trying to switch it up a little bit, just kind of trying to keep it sort of informative but sort of vlogging at the same time. And this is always an open forum, so if you have any questions, comments, I might not be able to answer your question, because I'm not a diesel mechanic. I'm really not. I'm a backwoods Joe garage mechanic as far as I'm concerned. But if I can do it, you can do it. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I look at it. But you know, I appreciate your guys' time. You guys have a great day.